gone, still on the ride. Mike and Need be side by side, talking thrills from coast to coast, celebrating what we love the most. Turn it up, feel the vibe, join the thrill of this ride. Hold on tight, it's time to go. Here it is, Coaster Radio.
This is your announcer, Neil Patrick Harris. Welcome to the 20th anniversary season of Coaster Radio. Here are your hosts, my close personal friends, Mike Collins and E.B.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the original theme park podcast. You are listening to Coaster Radio. My name is Mike. I am here with my friend E.B., and we've got a fun show for you this week. We're going back in time to kind of listen to, you know, it's very similar to when people bury time capsules, and then you unearth them, and you have all of this great information and all of these great things that you see. That's pretty much what we are doing on tonight's episode of the show.
Well, Mike, this is a very special episode, and it is kind of like digging up a time capsule. I'm a big fan of time capsules. I actually find them online, and I try to plan road trips to go visit these time capsules. There's one that's opening this summer, 4th of July, in Seward, Nebraska, that I really want to go see. They claim it's the world's largest time capsule. There should be I think there's a Pinto inside this time capsule.
Wow.
But let me tell you about time capsules, Mike. When they open them up, yes, it's typically a treasure trove of history and wonderful content, but it's also usually soggy and badly damaged.
Oh, no, yeah.
And so when we go back into the coasterradio.com archive and go back to episode 1, and we listen to that and hold it up to the standards of 2025, it just doesn't hold up. And we know that we have listeners that go all the way back and re-listen to the entire series of 20 years of Coaster Radio. And those early episodes, they don't sound as good just because of the technology and the way it was processed. But Mike, through the miracle of modern technology and your own editing skills, we are here to present to you, our listeners, a wonderful, brand new, polished, high definition, digitally enhanced first episode of Coaster Radio.
Yes, it's so fun. In fact, what you may want to do is before you listen to this enhanced first episode, you may want to go back to the very first one and take a listen to it. You're going to hear like this high-pitched, like tinny sound. It's very weird. And even though, like going back, here's a little behind the scenes. We used to all gather at my house for those first episodes. We would talk into microphones that would go into a mixer, and then it would be recorded on a CD. We actually had a CD recorder. Then what would happen is we would take the digital audio from the CD, which probably was pretty pristine. I imagine that sounded pretty good. But as soon as we brought it into the edit system and then exported it for a podcast, I'm sure the bit rate was so low on those audio files, those original MP3s, that it just lost so much of the fidelity. And it sounds tinny, it sounds kind of strange. So what we were able to do is use, like Evie said, modern tech to bring back all of the crystal clear audio quality. And it's fun. It's fun to listen to because now it actually sounds like something that was recorded yesterday instead of 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And we even added a couple of dewbacks that will cross, between your ears. In this newly remastered special edition of the first episode.
You're going to like it. You're going to like it. It's fun. I listened to this newly restored episode today on the way into work because I wanted to
purists are so upset that you're meddling, Mike. You're meddling.
It's like George Lucas, right? Going back and
it is. It's exactly what it is.
Here's the good thing. Nothing was changed.
Mario shot first.
Yeah. No, nothing has been added. Everything is exactly the same. We just brought the audio quality up so that it sounds, like something you'd want to listen to in 2025.
Except we replaced Flava with a CGI worm guy.
That's right. Wampa wampa. Yeah. So it's fun to listen to this. There are a couple weird things I will warn you about first. For some reason, a lot of people are going to hear my voice and think that the AI has sped it up or made it higher. But that's not the case. I actually, for whatever reason...
Hey guys, I'm 16. This is my first podcast.
Yes. I think I was so I sort of knew what was coming, EB. I knew that coaster enthusiasts were going to bust our ass. So, like, I could tell that I'm a little nervous at the beginning. And so my voice is up at this register. It's talking like this high. So when you hear the AI version, don't say like, oh, wait, AI changed Mike's voice. No, that's how high my voice
original.
was.
I think we were all a little bit faster and a little bit lighter back in those days.
Yeah. So it was just, you're going to hear everybody kind of like talking fast. And the other thing too, it's interesting. Well, first off, for some reason I say coaster weird. I go coaster. Like you're going to hear me go, oh, we're here to talk about roller coasters. Like it's just like almost Canadian. I have no idea why I'm doing that. I'm like, oh, hey, we're going to talk about these new coasters.
Hey guys, the coasters.
Yeah. So it's I don't know why I was doing that. Also, the first 3 rides that we talk about are all defunct now. So that's kind of funny. That's interesting. One thing that you have to know, I think you should go back and look at a photo of the 5 of us because certain things will make sense. You'll hear Flava do some Asian jokes, and so it might seem racist to you now, but know that he is Asian, and so he's
okay.
Yeah, So like I listened to it and I was like, if somebody didn't know what this was, they're going to be like, oh no, what are these? This guy doing like Asian
throwing
jokes.
out the R word and we're calling stuff gay. It's all sorts of bad early.
No, thankfully we didn't do that. There's none of that. None of that in the episode. Everything else is pretty good. Everything else still works fine in today's sensibilities, which is good. So, but it's just funny. It's interesting. The other weird thing too, for some reason, Flava in this episode keeps talking about how he gets sick on rides. He brings that up every 60 seconds. He's like, yeah, guys, but I get sick on rides. Like, and it just, that's funny. Like, I don't know why he's doing that. And I don't know, but there's some good stuff in there. I think it's fun. The great thing about this episode is it kind of shows where the show is going to go. There's a game show. There's news about upcoming rides. There is a segment we do about park pet peeves. So we kind of get into that. There's some interactivity, a lot going on. So I think the only bummer about this is, EB, you were just in it for a little bit. You're on the phone for a little bit. So that's the only bummer about that first episode. But otherwise, I think it's an interesting listen. And it's, like we said, a time capsule. You go back and you hear the excitement about these new rides. Like, for instance, we talk about Sheikra. Sheikra was debuting that year. And we were like, this is great. We need, we don't have any coasters like this in this country. And now, like we're oversaturated with them, with dive coasters. So it's fun. It's going to be a fun listen. I hope you guys really enjoy it. And it's kind of fun to take audio from 20 years ago and make it sound like it was recorded today.
Yeah, very cool. All right, let's do it.
The following is a production of CoasterRadio.com.
Broadcasting from our studios in Washington, D.C., this is CoasterRadio.com.
Welcome, everybody, to the premiere episode of CoasterRadio.com.
All right.
Yes.
Welcome.
We have made it. We're finally on the air. This has been a thing we've been talking about for months and months, and here it is, April 25th, our very first show. Pretty exciting.
I'm very excited to be here. We're excited to have you here. Yes, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
This is going to be a good time. This is going to be a really interesting project. Like, at first, when you first look at it, it does sound a little bit strange, an entire radio show dedicated to roller coasters and theme parks. But when you think about it, there's shows dedicated to all types of things, like sports. And people talk, for hours and hours about sports. Why not talk hours and hours about theme parks?
Yeah, it's something that we've been talking about for a while now, because we, as a group, we used to go to theme parks just for fun. And we talk about the aesthetic appeal, the thrill rides. And I mean, Mike Collins, for example, knows so much about just the ride itself. And then we kind of have our own experiences. For me, at least, it's all about like how much rides I can take. Cause you guys know from experience that I can't ride rides consecutively. And so I'm the one who has the motion sickness. I'm a coaster enthusiast with motion sickness. If that's an oxymoron, I don't know what is. You know what I mean?
That's true. See, and that's why it's going to be very interesting to have you here, because I think with the 5 of us who are here on the CoasterRadio.com cast, we're all very different. I think each of us is a little bit different. Like I'm sort of like the real hardcore.
Yes.
We'll probably tell stories about that, like where I'll go like for 10-hour marathons.
We can attest to that. We've seen Mike in action, and it's kind of scary, like 6:30 in the morning. Mike's ready to go, and he's already dressed and ready for the day. But I think, I think we're all different, and we'll bring good and different things to the show.
Yeah, and the most important thing to remember, though, is that, like, none of us are theme park experts. I think that's what everybody at home's got to realize right away. We really enjoy going to the parks, but we're not going to be able to tell you, like, every single stat that's out there. We'll kind of leave that to some other people out there in the roller coaster community. But
yeah, we're certainly going to be talking to those people, too.
Definitely.
I mean, like, it's interesting stuff, but, I mean, for the regular coaster enthusiast, I mean, like, we're all about, like, rides and how we feel afterwards and, like, if I get sick and things like that,
nobody wants to hear about you getting sick. But I think Mike is the closest thing to a expert that we have here, right? As far as
I guess so, and that's probably just because I'm the nerdiest of all of us in the room. Like that,
everybody's down in roller coasters. I just want to ride the coasters, and people make fun of me.
But yeah, like I suppose I'm the one who, like, with the most knowledge of the different companies that produce, the roller coasters and things like that. But really, this show is going to be more about just the whole entire theme park experience. Like Mike was talking about a little earlier, like the theming that you see, the different stories that you have, the funny things that you see people do at the parks. I think that's really what this is going to be about. But also keeping in mind that the show is going to be interactive as well.
Yeah, that's probably the best part of it, because we can kind of talk to you guys, see what you guys feel, and you guys can ask us questions too. I mean, we're going to try our best to answer them, but of course we're not experts.
Yeah, and see, that's going to be the real interesting thing, is that anybody who does want to, participate in the show, it's very easy. All you have to do is email us at feedback@coasterradio.com. But one thing that a lot of people may not realize is that you can take advantage of something called podcasting. And the really cool thing about podcasting is basically it works with your MP3 player. You download a very simple program, and then every week, if you subscribe to the coasterradio.com podcast, you automatically download each week's show. So you don't even really have to think about it. It just automatically gets downloaded to your computer and then to your MP3 player. So pretty much you can take the show anywhere that you want.
That is amazing.
Yeah, sweet.
We're missing somebody.
That's true.
We're missing somebody.
I'm
missing right now.
There is a fifth member who is not here today. We were really hoping to start off the show with all five.
But there's a good reason for that, Mike Collins. What's the reason?
The reason is because EB is the first one of us to procreate.
On a coaster.
Beat us to the punch.
He beat us all to the punch, so to speak, and we've got him by the phone right now. So EB, are you there, sir?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Tell us all about, like, the past week for you, because you're the first member of the crew to have a baby. What has this been like for you?
Oh, it's been great. It's been great. Lots of bad food at the hospital. Lots of excitement. It was a C-section delivery, so we had some blood and gore.
Oh, God. Is your wife somebody who likes roller coasters?
Yes.
Is she excited now that she's not pregnant anymore, that she can get on them?
Yes, now she can ride again, but she has to wait, of course, for her recovery to finish up. Otherwise, she'll, drop something else out.
Oh, that's the whole, wow. That's the whole summer, though, EB. She's not going to be able to get on anything this summer, right?
No, I might be able to make it in the fall.
The problem that you're going to start dealing with, and you can maybe share this with us when it happens, now that you have a kid, you got to go back and forth between who rides the ride and who stays with the kid. It's not like before where you can both get on and hold hands and ride up and down.
Right. You look at the park map and you're like, oh, kiddie area, I'm going to go around that.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. And now it's going to be kiddie areas, that's my day.
Well, Eric, we know that you are waiting on a phone call from the doctor, so we're going to let you go. But we're excited for you to join us on the next taping live.
Indeed.
All right, well, tell your wife we all said hello.
Hi, fellows.
And tell your baby we said hello to, and we will see you soon.
Congratulations.
See you later, man.
So there it is. EB on the phones with us.
One thing I forgot to mention, he'll be able to ride the kiddie rides now.
That's true.
You can always, the parent has to be with the little kids, and, those are always rides to look at, like, dang, I wish I could get on those too sometimes.
That's true. You guys, speed bump. That's what that is. That's a speed bump. Kiddie rides, they're a speed bump. They're slowing you down from getting to the real rides. I feel bad for him. I love kids, but that kid is going to keep him from having a good time.
Well, remember that time at Six Flags I made you get on that, like, a kiddie coaster?
Oh, yeah. That was keeping it. That was a speed bump. That kept us from getting on a ride that we needed to get on. The lines were getting longer, and we're sitting with a bunch of kids with our knees knocking up against the pins.
Or in my case, it's kind of like a relief ride.
Yeah.
Because I'm the guy, like, I'm always, whenever we go as a group, I'm the guy who needs recovery time. That's very important to me.
And I always feel bad for you, too, because one thing that we always do is we seem to pick days to go to the theme park where there are no lines. But that's how you get killed, because we sometimes go from ride to ride to ride. We'll ride 3 roller coasters in 30 minutes.
But don't worry about it. I'm going to write an article about it because my mom is in the medical field, and there are ways to get around that. There are some remedies that you can take some medications, or you can just make sure that you have enough food in your system.
Oh, right.
But hopefully, I'll put it to the test. The next time we go to a really thrill park where we take we go to roller coasters, roller coaster, and then I'll see if it works, and then I'll let you guys know.
See, and that's one of the cool things. If you go to coasterradio.com, all of the things that we pretty much talk about on the show are, either in article form or, we've got different things on there where you can actually read a little bit more about the things that we're talking about, especially about the next part of the show that we're going to be talking about now. We're actually going to go through, since we're at the beginning of the 2005 season, we're going to talk all about the different rides and attractions that are new coming out in 2005. First off, we're going to start about the non-coaster rides, and then after the break, we're going to talk about all of the new coasters. So let's just get into that. And keep in mind, if you're listening to us and you're sitting by your computer, you can go to coasterradio.com, go to our show links section, and you can actually click on the different links as we talk about each individual ride, so you can actually see pictures of it as we talk about it. Because I know one thing with radio, it's always hard to, envision it, but that's what's cool about internet radio is you can sit there and surf while you listen. So
technology.
Now, there's one ride. This is something that I'm actually looking forward to see if I can get out to ride. It's Insanity the Ride out in Las Vegas at the Stratosphere Hotel and Casino.
Yeah, you guys heard about this? Explain it, because it's kind of it's bizarre, but it seems like it's really crazy.
This is pretty wild. You all know, the Stratosphere is the big 900-foot tall tower that's out there. It's the big landmark. You see it on all of the Las Vegas shows that are out there. Basically, what they've done is they've put a whole bunch of thrill rides up there. But this new ride, I think, has them all beat.
This is crazy. I've seen pictures of this, and it's even scary to look at with people sitting on this ride.
Yeah, basically what this is, it's you guys have all seen kind of the wave swinger rides that they have, at all the different parks. It's very similar to that, except you are basically 900 feet above the air, going 40 miles an hour, and the chairs themselves tip out, so you're looking 45 degrees straight down.
So what holds you up? It's just basically a chain thing?
I think you just have a lap bar too.
You've just got a little...
and you're just the chair bends over, so you're looking straight down.
It's just got a real tiny lap bar there, and the thing's pulling 3 Gs as you're going around. So this is something that's out at Stratosphere in Las Vegas. Is this something you guys would get on?
I'm scared of heights, and that's the thing. I love coasters, I love thrill rides, but heights scare me, and that's fine. It makes it fun with roller coasters. But with roller coasters, you're up, you're down, you're out. But with these things that you're hanging off the edge.
The fact that it's going 40 miles an hour, though, would that relieve you?
But you're never away from the height. You're always up in the air at any time.
Also, the idea of you looking down and things would freak you out.
I think the one place that I would not go is 900 feet below, right under it. Because can you imagine somebody loses their lunch?
Yeah.
Get hit with some puke at 900 feet.
That's got to happen often, right?
Can they kill you?
Any coins and stuff?
Can they kill you?
That's a good question. That's a good question. And
if anybody who's already been there and knows already, let us know.
Yeah, all you got to do is give us email us about that at feedback@coasterradio.com.
Yeah, aren't we looking for people to represent us? I guess in the West Coast too. Is that on our website too?
Yeah, that's something that especially we should talk about that in the first show. If you go to the Join Us section of coasterradio.com, we're looking for people all around the country, but also all around the world to join the team because here we are. We're based on the East Coast. We can cover all of the coasters pretty much on the East Coast, but man, we don't get out to the West Coast that often. We don't get out to Texas as often as we'd like. We need people in all of these areas, especially overseas too. We want somebody in Japan to let us know about all the Japanese coasters,
Why do y'all start looking at me?
And I knew you were going to make a voice. I knew it. I said, don't make a voice.
I'm not going to make a voice.
Don't make any voice.
My Asian brothers are okay. I think they would want me to make a voice, but they don't. I'm not going to make a voice right now because I know that maybe we have a representative from there that might want to say hello. Well, what hello?
Let's move on to another ride that we have here. This is one that we're actually going to be checking out either next week or the week after in person. It's a Curse of Dark Castle at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
Yeah, I'm really psyched to see this one.
This ride is going to rock. This is actually, there are a lot of cool roller coasters that are coming out this year, but I'm actually looking forward to this ride probably more than ever. Because it's actually the first major ride that Busch Gardens, Williamsburg has put in since Apollo's Chariot.
It's about time.
That's true.
I think it's just about time for most of us.
Yeah, Greg, you've been waiting. You go to Busch Gardens every year.
I go every year. It's like, come on, let's put something there. Let's put, since '99 and Apollo's Chariot, I think it's about time they've, stepped up, and I think we're gonna.
The last thing they put was a new country.
Yeah, they had a country. And they put in some dancers of the Irish dancers, I think.
You can tell he was not interested.
I kind of passed that area.
Irish, Scottish, Indian, I don't know.
But this is going to be really something. This is something to hear about.
Yeah, explain this to me. So it's something similar to what we experienced in the Spider-Man ride in Islands Adventure. It's sort of that kind of experience, the 4D, but also you're interacting with certain things, like you can feel things going on.
Yeah, they're saying that, but the interesting thing that I was told about this ride is that 3 years ago they couldn't have built it because the technology is so new. So
we have the technology.
We now have the technology. You know, one thing I like to say about Busch Gardens is, they may take a while to put in a ride, but when they put it in, it's like one of the best rides, I have to say.
Yeah, it is.
That's true.
They don't mess around. That's why they're one of my favorite parks.
They don't give us crap.
That's right.
True.
They don't, they'll take their time. They'll see what the crowds want. They'll, try and get the people.
Yeah, they certainly do their research, man.
They do. Yeah, they do.
I'd rather wait 6 years between rides than have a piece of crap ride like some other parks do.
Which one?
Yeah, I won't say it.
You won't say the name?
No. Not especially because we're just starting out. Well, look, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to regroup. And when we come back, we're going to talk all about the new coasters coming up in 2005, including King Da Ka.
King Da Ka.
That's one I'm looking forward to riding, even though it's going to be like
unbelievable.
It's going to be pretty fast, but it's going to be a good ride. So we will be right back right here on CoasterRadio.com.
This is CoasterRadio.com.
Sting for VH1 Save the Music.
When children learn music, they learn to think in a different way. Studies have shown that it helps them to do better work in other subjects. So make sure your kids learn music. They'll learn much more than how to carry a tune.
School music programs are in trouble. Help VH1 save the music in our public schools. Please call toll-free 1-888-VH1-4MUSIC.
VH1 Save the Music, because music education equals brain power.
Welcome back, everybody, to CoasterRadio.com. We've got the entire gang here. We've got Mike Collins, Greg K, Flava, and Mario Williams. And keep in mind, you can, interact with us. The email address is feedback@coasterradio.com. Let us know what you think about the show. We're pretty much ready for anything at this stage in the game. Good, bad, ugly.
I've got a question, Mike. If we talk bad about one of these places, they won't get mad at us, will they?
That's what I'm wondering about. Because, see, so far, everybody's been pretty cool to us. All of the PR people.
Love you all.
Yeah, all the different coaster organizations. But we do want to keep it real at the same time. So if we do have something bad to say, I'm wondering what's going to happen.
We have to think of this show as kind of like a way for people to kind of tell them how we're feeling, because we're representing the people, the regular people that go to these parks. So if we're not happy about a certain thing, don't take it personal.
See, I'm wondering what's going to happen the first time we trash a park, and then we have to go to the park, and we have to look that PR manager in the eye. What are they going to say,
Let's use some names. For example, if we're going to talk about a park that might have been built in the 70s, that has a really ratty office, and they have a bunch of rides that are just not kept up to par, and some rides are kept up too long, and we'll make up a name for it.
I think that's probably a good idea.
We'll call it, Queensland. Princess Palace. The Royal Hunt.
There goes our invitation.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
That's just an example.
That's all right. As long as we don't say anything about Busch Gardens, because that's where we've got to go next.
Of course. Busch Gardens, they've been great, and we can't wait to ride that new ride, the Curse of Dark Castle.
That's right. Actually, another place that we're going to be going the week after that, I believe, if everything is good, is Six Flags Great Adventure, because basically this is the big news in the coaster world. The world's tallest, fastest coaster coming to Six Flags Great Adventure. Let me give you a few of the stats on this. 456 feet tall, so that's a world record right there. 128 miles in 3.5 seconds flat.
Is that fast enough to kind of make your cheeks go crazy?
I don't know, man. That's like lung crushing, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, my take on it is that it's going to be exciting when you're actually riding the ride. It's like one of those rides where you actually feel it 5 minutes after you ride it. When you get back.
Yeah.
At least from my perspective.
Yes.
Like, you stop and you're like, wow, this was great. And you get off the ride and you're walking back and you're like, whoa. It's like a whoa.
Here's one of the things I'm worried about, though, is that basically, this ride trumps the one at Cedar Point, Top Thrill Dragster. It beats it, by, a couple dozen feet. Now, here's the problem. The one at Cedar Point was having major problems when it opened. Like, it was constantly breaking down. But I'm wondering, do you think the company who built this ride has worked out the kinks and it's not going to happen? And here's another thing that's bothering me, too, is that, is every world record-breaking coaster going to be in the same mold now? Are we not going to have a record-breaking coaster that actually goes up a lift hill anymore? Is it always going to be these launch coasters that are 30 seconds and then they're over?
No, or this coaster is going to become like, nothing.
So late in like a month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next year, something's going to beat this, and it's just going to keep happening.
And you know who's going to do it? It's my buddies from Japan. Those guys.
That's right.
Those technical gurus.
Because see, man, here's the problem. Like, all these great coasters are coming out and all of these great rides, but they're so short. Like, you wait in line 2 hours for 30 seconds. Is that what
it seems like? The trend is it's all about the speed nowadays, not necessarily. Remember, like maybe a decade ago, it's all about the loops, like steel coaster with loops. The more loops, the better.
That's right.
Now it's all about speed, like who can be the fastest, who can be the tallest. So they're not necessarily making sure that you have an experience that's long. It's just that you have that one thrill for that 1 millisecond of going really high and really fast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what they take into account. And so, like, when the competition goes, like, the trend is nowadays is to beat the other person.
Oh, the one good thing is when that ride first comes out, it's going to be the thing.
Oh, man, it's going to be a blockbuster, dude. It's going to be, like, tons of people there, 3-hour lines, It's going to be the one attraction that everybody's going to be flocking to.
The one thing that you can't beat, though, I mean, because, there are a lot of downsides to it, but you can't get that thrill anywhere else. Like, that quick of acceleration, you can't get it unless you're on drugs or something, That's about it.
I guess.
Drugradio.com.
Anyway, so let's move on to coaster number 2 in our 2005 review here. It's a coaster called Shikra coming up at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Any idea of what Shikra means?
What does Shikra mean?
Shikra is actually an African hawk
Mario?
known to dive straight down for its prey.
Now, this
you called me out on the Japanese thing. I
know, because I knew you were going to make Japanese jokes. I know how you do. I don't make jokes about African hawks.
It is an African hawk.
What's the concept of this coaster? What's
the big deal about this is it's North America's first dive coaster. Now, imagine this is what it's going to be. It climbs up 200 feet. It comes to the top of the hill. It stops. You're hanging there over the edge for a couple seconds, and then vertical, straight down 90 degrees.
See, that's good, and that's new. That's something that hasn't been done before.
Is it truly 90 degrees? Because they said about Hypersonic XLC, but maybe about 5 feet of it was 90 degrees, and then...
Well, it is truly 90...
climb up.
Yeah. It is truly 90 degrees, and the cool thing is it goes down into a tunnel, which is... goes around, does some swoops, and then lands in a pond and actually does a splash up and stuff. So it sounds like it's going to be a pretty cool ride. Something that's new, like you said, Greg, like not something that's in the States yet. So let's move on to another coaster here, Hydra the Revenge over at Dorney Park. Now, for those of you who don't know, there used to be a coaster sitting right on the same site that Hydra is called Hercules.
That's right.
And it was this painful wooden coaster that no one was riding. So they did what I think a lot of parks should do. If there's a painful coaster or something that's bad, tear the sucker down. Yeah. Get it out of there. And they're putting in a, one of the latest generation of floorless roller coasters there. Now, here's something I was thinking about you, Flava, when we were talking about this is the big thing about this ride that everybody's talking about is they have, before you get to the lift hill, a inversion. It's called a JoJo roll. And basically what it is, it goes right out of the station and does a little bit of a flip and then goes onto the lift hill. So you're not even going at that high of a speed. You're just slowly coming out, do a little bit of a twist, and then go in. So I don't know. Is that something you think would make you sick, or is that something that you would like?
I have no idea. The concept's kind of strange.
Yeah, it's the world's first inversion before a lift hill. So imagine you're not even like into the meat of the ride yet, but you're already flipping upside down before you ever even start climbing the first hill.
I don't know. It's like what usually gets me is the really fast turns and then like loops. Like it's the quickness that gets me. So the fact that it's still slow and it's turning probably wouldn't bother me so much. I don't know. That's something that I'd probably have to take a look at and actually just ride and try it out.
Yeah, I want to get him on that so we can laugh and
see how that goes.
Slow.
But what's the deal with calling it a JoJo roll? What is that? JoJo?
I was about to ask you what that's about.
I have no idea. Somebody's got to explain that.
We'll
to me.
have to research JoJo. I've never heard of JoJo as a coaster term.
Well, one of you dudes who's out there listening and like really knows this stuff, well, one of you like email us and let us know what the heck this means.
Maybe we can try to find out who designed the actual coaster. Maybe they came up with the term.
Yeah.
Babe, his name is Joe.
We could get ourselves up to
maybe the guy who designed it was JoJo.
Yeah, maybe JoJo.
Yes, he's designed it.
So anyway, now here's a very interesting ride that's coming up. They're actually at 2 Paramount's parks, at Kings Island and at Canada's Wonderland. It's called Italian Job Stunt Track. And basically what it is, it's a new roller coaster that's being built, but it's all about being heavily themed. And it's themed to a car chase from the Italian Job.
Is that the movie with Mark Wahlberg and Charlize Theron?
Now, we've talked about this before.
We're about to get into it.
We're going to get into it. Get into it. Go ahead, because I know.
I love theming. Nobody loves a theme and a roller coaster more than me. Everybody knows that. You know I do. I like movie Wayne's World. when I go to this certain amusement park now, I see the Wayne's World stuff. Finally, they changed the stores and things around it, but a whole section of the park was themed around this movie. And there's not going to be a movie that's going to last over 10 years in its popularity. Even Batman is starting to wither. You can't theme a whole ride or park or section over, right? Because the Italian Job was mediocre when it came out. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, and I would like to imagine 3 years from now, people are going to say, what's the Italian Job?
That's right.
Is that a restaurant?
You think it's a danger if it's not a movie-themed park like a Universal Studios? I mean, they can kind of get away with that.
So they can. Yeah, I mean, it's not like Spider-Man that's been around for 50 years, and even Batman, maybe. Or the Flight of Fear, the space ride. That's a great theme, but it's not, what was it, Outer Limits?
You're right. Mm-hmm.
But it's something that isn't so time-sensitive.
Well, let's take a poll in this room. Who saw Italian Job in this room?
I saw it, yeah.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it.
So 2 out of the 4 of us?
2 out of the 4 of us.
So right there, though, they're hitting 50% only, which,
And we like movies.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, exactly. I do have to say, like, from everything that we've seen on the internet and from the information they've given, there are going to be some really cool effects on this roller coaster. Like, for instance, there's a part where the cars actually go into a subway station and they go underground, and as the cars go down the steps, you actually feel your seats moving like it's going down steps. And there's actually one scene where a helicopter comes and hovers over your train before it, shoots out, at a high speed. So there are going to be some really cool aspects of this. But like you said, is it really smart to, name it the Italian Job when, like, looking in this room right here, only 50% of us have seen it.
I had to think a second about what the movie was. If we have a sec, I want to know, what do you think would be the worst themed after a movie ride that they could do?
They may have already done it on some of these,
not written one.
Which one would you say?
Thriller.
Yeah, the Wayne's World.
There was also that Boys Don't Cry ride where you just get beat up.
Because nothing's more sad than riding a ride that's like so out of date. We've been on rides before, like the Hurler, let's say, or other, rides where it's just the theming is all gone to crap, and they don't keep it up.
The movies aren't playing. They don't have there's nothing on the screen.
Yeah, they don't play the in the monitors. It's all, there's nothing, and it's just it makes the coaster even not that great.
It's kind of depressing that you see it's falling down like that, because originally the people who operate it wear certain costumes.
Exactly.
They say little things, and the monitors have the things going in music, and then 3 years into it, it's just like an empty house, a dead house.
That's right.
Yeah,
like depressing.
I've got one movie for you that they actually did think about making a ride about, which I don't think would have worked, was Titanic.
No.
They were actually talking about making a Titanic
Wouldn't
ride.
that be insulting?
I think it might be. So that's why they probably haven't done it yet, but there was talk about
Titanic.
I like the Trail of Tears.
Amistad the ride.
Give us free.
Take your picture at the end, you're just like...
Should I be crying or should I?
I want that on-ride picture.
Right.
Give me that. Oh, man. Okay, well, you know what? We are running short on time here, so let me go through these last couple coasters really fast, and then we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with our first contest ever, and also Park Pet Peeves. There's 2 coasters that are coming up that are pretty cool. One called Hades at Mount Olympus Water and Theme Park. It's the world's largest underground roller coaster.
Nice.
That's going to be a pretty exciting thing, too. Something that's coming up at Six Flags New England, and talking about theming, here we go. Mr. Six's Pandemonium.
Who?
Mr. Six. Do you know who Mr. Six is?
Is that old man that's in the...
Exactly. The old man who dances in the Six Flags commercial.
No.
That's it.
Somebody is really arrogant to think that they're a little...
It's that bald guy.
Basically, it's a spinning coaster, which sounds kind of fun, like to have a coaster that, goes through like a wild mouse track and spins. So that's there too.
That guy looks like Uncle Soprano.
That's what they rebranded as.
That's what they have to be, like Junior Soprano.
What do you mean, Tony?
I can't do very well. And so one last coaster that we have here on the list is Powder Keg, which is a ride at Silver Dollar City out in Branson, Missouri.
Not about.
Basically, it's kind of cool. It's a launch coaster, but it's made for families, and they basically...
Oh, there we go. Family coaster.
It's a family coaster. It goes from 0 to 53 miles an hour in 3 seconds instead of King to Ka, which will go 0 to 128.
So even the kids can start early and just get a little taste of...
And I think that's important. I think that's important.
So it's a training.
That's right. You start in steps, and I wish we had that as kids too, because we just had a
you'd be so back when we were kids, we didn't get to shoot off at 60 miles per hour.
Let's take a quick break. And we will come back with some good stuff. We're going to come back with our first contest that we're going to do, Soundwave. We're going to tell you all about that. We're also going to kick off our series on park pet peeves. Yes. We're going to talk all about people who cut in line and what the park should do and what we should do too.
Or what we shouldn't do.
What we shouldn't do, because there's some things you don't want to do, I'm sure. So we'll be right back on CoasterRadio.com.
This is CoasterRadio.com.
The digital divide is the distance we allow between those who have the power of information and those who don't. In AmeriCorps, we're working to bridge that gap.
We're teaching kids to use the internet one-on-one after school.
In AmeriCorps, it's not can you make a difference, it's where. Take a year, give back.
To join AmeriCorps, call 800-942-2677 or go to AmeriCorps.org.
It's your world. It's your chance to make it better.
Welcome back, everybody, to CoasterRadio.com. Make sure you email us to let us know what you think about the show and how many questions. All you got to do is email us at feedback@CoasterRadio.com. You can also go to the Meet the Crew section and email us individually. Each of us have our emails there. There's also some bios and some pictures as well, so you can see exactly what this crew looks like as you're listening.
We won't seem as racist when you see the people making Japanese jokes in black shirts.
That's true.
Those boys are racist.
Now, if they can do it, so can I.
We got our big Confederate flag on CoasterRadio.com. Let's go and see.
It is so not racist.
And when we show up to our studio tapings here, we drive in a big General Lee.
Yeah.
That should be nice.
There he goes.
And I look like Uncle Jesse. All right, so now one really cool thing that we're going to be doing with CoasterRadio.com is we're going to have a whole bunch of different contests where we're going to be giving away prizes from theme parks, really good stuff. One of the very first contests that we're going to do is something called Soundwave. And basically what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play a clip that we recorded on a roller coaster somewhere in the United States. So right now, let me play this roller coaster sound for you and see if you guys can guess at all what it is. All right, what do you guys think of that?
I have absolutely no idea.
If there's anybody out there that can figure that out, like either they've been riding on coasters for like till they were born or something, but that's all nearly impossible, man. I have no idea.
That's right, the roller coaster.
Yeah.
I bet you there's someone out there that knows, though.
I bet you know what? I think that people are going to be able to guess what type it is, but they're not going to be able to guess which one it is.
I mean, there's certain sounds that if it's a steel coaster, if it's a wooden coaster.
Yeah, let's play it one more time just so everybody can hear it, because this is the only place that you're going to be able to hear it. We're not going to post it on the website anywhere except during the show right now. So one more time. Here it is. And that actually is a sound that it's not from a sound effects CD or anything like that. It was actually recorded on a roller coaster. So that's a real sound. And actually, in regard to the prizes too, we're going to post all of that online. So just go ahead and look at the contest area and you'll be able to see exactly what prizes are up for Soundwave. But since Soundwave's kind of a difficult contest, we're going to have a good prize for it.
Good.
Yeah, if you guys can figure that out, you guys definitely deserve the prize.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool. Can be a good time. So now we're getting into the end of our show here, and one thing that we're going to do every couple of weeks is do something on a series called Park Pet Peeves, where basically we take a look at things that go on in the parks, and especially something that really bothers us about something going on in parks across the country, and I'm sure around the world too. And our first pet peeve is going to be all about people who cut in line.
Yes.
People who jump lines. And you've all seen them, the people who are walking by and say, "Oh, my friend is up there. I'm trying to get to my friend." And then you see, they're doing this to everybody, but then there's no friend. They're they're up there.
They're everywhere in every park you go to.
Exactly. So now here's my question though. How much do people like you and me, what do we do about it? But also is it more of a park thing? Should the parks be more concerned about it?
Well, in a perfect world, it should be a park thing. I mean, there should be somebody there just paying attention to that. I mean, you see the signs all the time. Line breakers will be kicked out of the parks. Was there anybody really paying attention to that?
Nope.
Probably not. So
except for people in line.
Exactly. I mean, that's where it results when people get in fights. I mean, I actually haven't seen it so many times, but there have been one or two instances where people get really pissed off. And I mean, whose job is it? Is it your job to take responsibility for it? Or I mean, I've certainly seen this also too. Like some people kind of gang up on the dude who's actually doing it.
I like that.
I mean that shows support for the people who are actually following the rules. But it should be a park thing.
It should. But
how can you enforce that?
That's the difficult part.
No, wait, no. I've seen, especially at the Six Flags parks, you've probably seen them too, but they have these like lifeguard chairs. And now sometimes I don't see people sitting in them, sometimes I do, but they're supposed to be looking out over the crowd. I've seen them actually sitting up there and pointing out people. Now, sometimes they, do take care of it, sometimes they don't.
I think they pay attention more to the people who are sitting on the rails than the people who are cutting the line.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to see those people. I want to know why. There are obviously people who are listening now who do that. Why do it? I mean, I know why to get in front of the line, but it takes a certain type of person to be able to do that. I want to know, so I could be that person.
Yeah. So what can people like us do, just normal people who go to parks? How do we stop this type of thing?
I always like to make my little comments as they, brush by you or, they see that, you're catching them. You always give like that, I love doing that
passive aggressive.
Right. Oh. They see you do that. And I don't think they feel bad about it, but they know that you're kind of upset. And I don't know what other actions you can take.
And also you're letting them know that you know what they're doing. Right. You're not fooled by that cheap ass.
Exactly.
Right. I saw once at Busch Gardens when we were in line for Apollo's Chariot, these guys were trying to cut their way. They weren't trying to cut their way to get to the middle of the coaster. They were trying to get to the very front car. And I remember this, and they were trying to work the same way. And there was this lady, she must have been from New York or something, because she starts screaming at the top of her lungs.
God bless her.
Those are line cutters.
Those are line cutters. Good for her. And you know what? I saw the guy, there was a manager there from Busch Gardens. He came and he got those guys. He escorted them right out of the station, and the whole place erupted in applause.
That's great. That's what should happen more often.
You could tell everybody was pretty...
So we need more ladies from New York to do that, though.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is she pointed out the wrong guys, and they got thrown out.
You know what also upsets me is people who aren't cutting in line, but they'll jump over the bars when there's like no one in line.
Yes.
And they just trying to get further up in line and just they'll jump the bars and just go underneath the bars.
Oh, come on.
Why not walk the thing? I mean, walk.
Come on.
I'm going to get there eventually.
Come on.
You're talking to one of them, man.
I'm like Dominique Dawes and those things.
Oh. And I think, one thing that everybody can do is at every single park, there's always like a guest relations office.
Right.
And I think if you see that going on, you let them know, because they do, take heed of all that. They write all that stuff down.
That might be something that I might want to ask one of the representatives from Busch Gardens, since we're going to go down there for Curse of Dark Castle, what they're going to do about line cutters. I mean, it's certainly a concern for everybody who goes, especially like a family theme park.
Does line cutting constitute being kicked out of the ride or out of the park?
According to most like park maps and like park rules, they say you get kicked out of the park.
Yeah, that's what I've seen most of the time.
Has anyone ever seen that?
Well, maybe, yeah.
I've never seen somebody get kicked out of the park unless those two guys at the Apollo's Chariot got kicked out of the park, but I didn't follow them out.
They clearly say on the signs, like, line cutting will not be tolerated, you'd be kicked out of the park, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
Do you notice all the line cutters have attitudes too? I know we kind of touched base on that, but they always have some agenda. And it's the attitude that I hate. If like the whole party was like, a little bit ahead of you and they had to get, fine, I'll let them go, not a problem. But they always have some agenda and having some...
That's part of the game. That's part of the defense mechanism. You call them out and then they'll... What?
Well, that's the thing. Well, it's kind of the whole like entitlement thing. Like, I'm entitled to, why do I have to? I paid my money. Why do I have to stand in the line?
That's exactly the worst comment you could say. As I paid my money.
Well, I'll tell you what. My wife Molly used to work at the Walt Disney World, and one of her jobs was to walk the parade route. And so she'd see kids all the time, like climbing in the trees, and she'd go over and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't climb in the tree. Come down." And the mothers would come over and yell at her and go, "We paid our $49 to be in this park. My son can climb whatever tree he wants." And she's like, "No, you can't. This is private property. You get down out of the tree." And you'd be amazed at the story she has. We're gonna actually have her on the show.
We'll have a woman on the show.
We're gonna have her on the show, and she's gonna tell some Disney horror stories of what some of the guests did there. But
that's about the worst excuse you can give, and that just shows how stupid some people can be.
Exactly. It's partly up to the parks, but it's partly up to us too. So I think that's we really got to look out for in 2005.
Back those kids around and say, "You paid your $49 too. I can do what I want." Pop, pop.
Oh man, that's great. Well, look, we are come to the end of our very first show, the premiere broadcast of CoasterRadio.com.
Yeah, this thing can go for hours, Mo.
Yeah, we could probably just sit around and talk for hours.
That's to say.
But we've got a whole season of this coming up, so we're going to have a lot of good stuff to talk about, especially coming up next week. We're going to be broadcasting live Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and the Curse of Dark Castle Media Day. So that's going to be great. We're going to get to talk to all the folks.
Yeah, so all the media heads who are out there listening to us, come and say hi.
Yeah, definitely.
Say hi and say hello.
Yeah, and for all of you out there, there are many different ways to interact with the show. Like we said, feedback at coasterradio.com. Or, if you see us out at a park, come on up and talk to us. Hopefully we're going to have some giveaways to hand out to people, but we'll also put you on the show as well. So that's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun this season. We're going to be with you every week, a new show online every Monday. So definitely stay with us right here on coasterradio.com. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Right. It's going to be a great season.
And thank all of you guys too. We'll see you next week.
This is coasterradio.com.
So there it is, EB. Exactly 20 years ago. Fun to take a listen to that and hear the excitement and hear where Coaster Radio began. I like it.
No, that was so much fun, Mike. And I don't know if the listeners are into this idea, is there the possibility in the future of us going back and cleaning up all these episodes? Are we really going to do the remastered Star Trek: The Next Generation? Where you go back to the original film and clean it up and make it all perfect and beautiful and wonderful?
Maybe so. Maybe
so.
Yeah.
Could be a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have to look into that because there are some episodes I think that are worthy of going back and updating and
well, I am curious to see how the listeners enjoy, a cleaned up encore episode, because maybe there's people out there that have said, I love Coaster Radio, and I hear about people who go back and listen from the beginning through all 20 seasons of the show. I tried that and I couldn't even get through the first season. It doesn't sound good enough. Well, maybe this is the way. If you like this, we'll do what the listeners tell us to do, Mike. If you guys like us bringing these forward and cleaning them up, we can make this a thing. We can totally make it a thing. Let us know. Feedback at coasterradio.com. Tell us what you think, please.
Yeah. So we are taking next week off to prepare for a big episode because the following week is our 20th anniversary episode. That show you just heard aired on April 25th of 2005. So on April 25th of 2025, we are going to unveil our big anniversary episode. So if you guys want to be a part of that, if you want to have a message on the show or anything that you'd like, send it to us at feedback@coasterradio.com. You can also use the coasterradio.com iPhone app. We're going to have a lot of fun things, a lot of special guests. Maybe even we're talking about a countdown of the best moments of Coaster Radio. So if you've got an idea of what you think that is, like one a great moment from the show that was important to you and one that you really enjoyed, let us know about that too. We've got a lot of fun stuff we're putting into this episode.
Yeah, we're still figuring it out though, so we need your help.
Yeah.
This is going to be some major listener interactivity for the 20th anniversary episode of Coaster Radio. So if you have an idea, if you got some content of your own, if you want to share something with us, throw it out there. Feedback at coasterradio.com is our email, or anywhere on social media at Coaster Radio. If you're over at patreon.com/Coaster Radio, you can get into the Discord. We've got a special channel in our Discord where we're talking about the best of Coaster Radio and the 20th anniversary. Conversations are happening in there right now where we're talking about ideas for the episode and things like that. You should be in the Coaster Radio Discord. The way to do it is go to patreon.com/Coaster Radio. Show that you support the show. Join that inner circle. It costs $10 a year. Is really all you're talking on here to support the show. Keep the content coming week after week and day after day with our daily podcast, Theme Park News. Patreon.com/Coaster Radio. Perks and bonus content at every level. Mike, let's say thanks to folks who support the show at $20 a month.
Yes, thank you to Alex Payne, Ashton Rowe, Brian Wackler, Chris Rankin, Cincinnati Nick the Sweatshirt Guy, our friends at Club Z, the two bearded Coaster Chris's, CM Venom, Colton Toms, Dino, Grace, John Brody, and John Brown.
Also Josh Combs, Justin Padilla, Karen and Lee Howren, Kevin Wilson, Kyle Kiefer, our friends at Made to Thrill, Matt Walker, Michael Foucault, Nick from Paris, Paladelis Reyes, Rich Barber, Rick Burnley, Tom from Louisville, and Zachary Carpenter.
Thanks also to Kyle Lindner at the Lindner Design Company. They specialize in branding, illustration, and small batch custom apparel. They were the guys who helped us out with our 20th anniversary logo, which is all over the place. It's really great. We're using it everywhere, and we appreciate Lindner Design. You can find them on Instagram at Lindner_design.
That's right. And if you like that logo, find the Coaster Radio t-shirt shop. There's a link at coasterradio.com. We got all kinds of cool swag and gear, and there's a beach towel on there, Mike. And yes, in celebration of 20 years of Coaster Radio, there's the Coaster Radio thong is back in the shop.
It's there.
Yeah,
it's there. I wonder how many we will sell.
Yeah, it's there. There's a link towards the bottom of the coasterradio.com homepage. So check that out. We're going to take a week off, and then we'll be back for our 20th anniversary celebration of Coaster Radio.
You've been listening to Coaster Radio, the original theme park podcast. To learn more about the show and hear hundreds of episodes from the archives, visit our website at coasterradio.com. This is your announcer, Neil Patrick Harris. Thanks for listening.
Peace out, suckers.
Coaster Radio is a production of Lift Hill Media, LLC. Audio and video from this program may not be broadcast, edited, or reproduced without our express written permission. Copyright 2025, all rights reserved. This was all done in one breath.